these things don't get resolved within a day or two. Usually, the North Koreans want to at least get some propaganda value out of this. Often, it takes a high-level official or ex-U.S. official to go and retrieve these people. Former President Carter, former President Clinton have gone to North Korea in the past to retrieve American detainees.
Now, a US soldier is being held in North Korea after crossing the border from South Korea without authorization. He was reportedly in the process of being transported back to the US for disciplinary reasons before he turned around at the airport and joined a tour of the demilitarized zone. Officials are trying to notify the soldier's next of kin, according to the White House, and several news outlets have reported that the man's name is Travis King and that he is a private second class in the US Army. The US Secretary of Defense, Lloyd J. Austin, said the US is concerned for the soldiers' welfare and is closely monitoring and investigating the situation.
One of our service members who was on a tour willfully and without authorization crossed the military demarcation line. We believe that he is in the BRK custody. And so we're closely monitoring and investigating the situation and working to notify the soldiers next of kin and engaging to address this incident. In terms of my concerns, I'm absolutely foremost concerned about the welfare of our troop. And so we will remain focused on this. And again, this will develop in the next several days and hours, and we'll keep you posted.
Well, Victor Cha is former Director for Asian Affairs at the White House National Security Council. He's now Senior Vice President and Career Chair at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Victor, what do you make of what's going on here?
Well, this is one of the latest in about 20 cases where Americans have been detained in North Korea. In this case, this person, as your piece said, ran across the military demarcation line. But there have been about 20 instances like this since the mid-1990s, and they don't resolve very quickly. They usually take weeks, if not months.
So the upshot of this is that this is somebody who appears to have been going through a very difficult personal situation. It looks like he was about to be sent home and he zoomed off on a tour. What are the prospects now of getting him out? It sounds as though he is being held by the North Korean authorities.
Yeah, so I think the prospects are not very certain at this point, as is often the case with North Korea. I'm sure that they've taken him in and they're interrogating him, understanding the reasons for this move by the person. Clearly, he was someone who was having some difficulty. The North Koreans will exploit this for propaganda purposes, especially because it's a U.S. military soldier that has come across the border. But like I said, we don't know. These things don't get resolved within a day or two. Usually, the North Koreans want to at least get some propaganda value out of this. Often, it takes a high-level official or ex-U.S. official to go and retrieve these people. Former President Carter, former President Clinton have gone to North Korea in the past to retrieve American detainees. So this starts out as sort of a working level military armistice violation negotiation, but it quickly elevates to becoming a political negotiation at some point in the near future.
And we're hearing tonight that North Korea has launched 2 suspected ballistic missiles into the nearby sea. This has been confirmed by South Korea's military. And of course, it comes as tensions are already running high. But do you think there's any potential link to the detention of this soldier?
I don't think there's a link because nobody could have predicted that this soldier would come across. I do think that North Korea has been doing a lot of missile tests lately, and the United States and South Korea have been responding with their own exercises. In addition, the day that this has happened is a day that the United States and South Korea were about to unveil a new nuclear deterrence dialogue between the two of them, and a visit by a nuclear submarine to the South Korean port for the first time in decades, all to shore up the U.S. nuclear umbrella over South Korea in the face of North Korea's burgeoning ballistic missile and nuclear threat.
You were saying a moment ago that it would probably take some kind of high-level intervention in order to try to negotiate the release of this individual. I mean, how difficult is it for the United States to deal with North Korea? It doesn't have diplomatic relations. North Korea, we know, is a very isolated society. How difficult is it going to be for US officials to try to persuade the authorities to release this soldier?
It will be difficult. There's no denying that it will be difficult. North Korea holds all the cards in that respect. They haven't exactly been yearning for a negotiation or dialogue with the United States. In fact, they've had none with the Biden administration yet, despite the administration's efforts to try to reach out to North Korea. So this does provide a pretext for having some sort of dialogue to resolve this incident. They can't leave it unresolved. And that might be the silver lining in the dark cloud, is that they can use this as a way to create some sort of engagement. But initially, it will just be focused on the terms of release, which usually require a coerced confession and apology. But that still could take quite a bit of time.
What would an American soldier be doing up so close to the North Korean border in the first place?
Yeah, I'm trying to understand the logistics of this, because he was supposed to be sent home on an airplane, and somehow he got from the airport or from the bus to the airport onto a tour that went into the joint security area. I've been in that area both when I was in government and as a tourist, and when you go into that area, they do not let you come very close to the military demarcation line. They allow you to go into the buildings that traverse the border. But they don't let you get close to the military demarcation line outdoors because, of things like this. And once he made a break for it and ran across, it's hard for anybody no one's authorized to go over and get him. So he just ran freely into the arms of the North Koreans.
An extraordinary case. Victor Cha, former Director for Asian Affairs at the White House National Security. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.